We're live on YouTube, Twitter, Rumble. Going to be live on Rockfin shortly when that little red button is clickable. Just about there. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Late night show. Wanted to talk about the upcoming Libertarian National Convention. We're live also on Rockfin now. Let's dive in. Libertarian National Convention is coming up in not this weekend, but the next weekend. And with Trump speaking there and Afroman rapping there, what the hell is going to happen is what I've been curious about. And I have some guests here who have far more insight than I do into what may or may not happen. And I'm hoping they'll be able to fill in the blanks or at least speculate with me and have a little bit of fun. Welcome part of the Liberty Libations team, Zach, Jake, and Steven, who just got done doing a show of their own, and they've come over to help me out. Welcome, guys. I appreciate you guys joining me.
Awesome.
Appreciate having you here.
Yeah, Zach, always love your deep fake world that you live in there. Simulation theory, and you with a cyber hacking background, or penetration testing, as they call it. Maybe you know a little bit about this, the simulation, but that's subject for another time. So I've been thinking about this a lot. I talked to Joshua Smith recently, and I asked his opinion about it. I even did a poll on Twitter about which Libertarian candidate would be best at heckling Trump during his speech. And for those who aren't familiar with, this is coming up at the end of the event. You guys select your president at that convention, right? The delegates choose the president. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And how many delegates get to choose? Like, what is is it just who has the most votes?
Oh my,
something like a little over 1,000 people. And then they usually use some sort of like ranked choice voting, or you'll vote like in, vote once and then somebody falls off, then you vote again with the new slate, and eventually somebody emerges the victor. But it's just forever. Like 1,000 people.
Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I'll wait till the end to ask you guys if you're delegates and where you're leaning, if you want to answer or not. But the media, their eyeballs are going to be there because Trump is a lightning rod. RFK is going to be there also. Vivek doing, I don't know what he's doing. But wherever Trump goes, the media follows. He can't go outside anywhere and them not flock to it. So this, to me, it represents an opportunity for the Libertarian Party. Also, it represents the possibility of Trump speaking and them being completely ignored. I could see them covering a Trump rally and just not even mentioning that it's at the Libertarian Convention, unless they see a way where they can demonize libertarians, and then both the left and right will join together and do that, because that's one of the few things they agree to do in the media is bash libertarians. And I'm curious how the party might use this opportunity with all these eyeballs to win favorable public opinion perception in the media. Have you guys thought about that? Do you have any insight? Do you know? Have you heard anything in the wind about what they might be planning?
Zach, you got anything?
Not really. I think
I have fears and hopes with it. My fear is that we're going to make a fool out of ourselves, because there are plenty of people within the Libertarian Party who are embarrassing in more ways than one. And especially when you're talking about two major political parties, like they're, attending our convention, maybe for the first time in our party's history. It's going to be the biggest convention we've ever had. And the idea of some of the characters that have shown up to convention in the past showing up and going up on stage kind of terrifies me.
It's kind of sometimes people use it for their own publicity reasons. Yeah. No, I've thought about the ways it could go disastrous as well, like you're saying, and especially with Trump speaking, and you have the Libertarian candidates for president. Is the president going to be chosen before or after Trump speaks?
I think it's moving to before now.
So what I've heard so far is that it's afterwards. And that's one of the reasons people are so mad about it.
That's what I was wondering, because if there's not an avenue for the Libertarian presidential candidates, like a representative or the nominee, to at least ask Trump a few questions or raise a few objections, then I fear chaos that could go unfavorably for the Libertarians, because I could see 7 candidates all fighting to kind of heckle Trump, not being heard because they're all talking, and it looking like Trump is being ganged up on, which perhaps is maybe good media for the Libertarians, because the mainstream media will be, well, maybe we'll give the Libertarians a little bit of credit because they were all, going after Trump. So it depends on just how you weigh what the coverage would be like. And so I just can't imagine a way that heckling doesn't happen unless the candidates are prevented from going to his speech, or there is some sort of coordination among this group, this political party that is famous for hating each other within their own party.
Yes.
And I think back to the Georgia debate. For those who haven't seen it, my friend Josh Warren, who is a Trump impersonator, you guys, which I was so happy that you guys allowed me to do this, to let him come in and interrupt the end of the debate. And I was thinking the night before, like, how are we going to kind of segue to get him in there? And then Chase Oliver came up and introduced himself. My friend Josh is sitting there as Josh. Chase has no idea this is a Trump impersonator or what we're planning. And Chase starts going into what he would do if he ever got to face Trump in a debate on stage. And he was performing it, and he was passionate, and he was doing his Trump impersonation. No idea that he was doing it to tomorrow's Trump in the debate. And then when he left, I said, that's it. The last question is going to be, Chase, you told us how you'd handle Trump. Now tell everybody here how you would debate Trump. Chase gets passionate, and then we had our Trump come in and interrupt. And it went really well, and he did a great job, and it was fun.
It was great.
But this is why I can't see them not heckling the real Trump, especially as passionate as Chase was, arguing with a fake Trump.
Look, we have to pick our nominee before Trump's speech. Like, if we don't, it's a scenario exactly what you just laid out is going to happen, and it's going to look terrible. Like you
Yep.
laid out the possibility of it looking good. I don't think it can look good. It's going to look like 7 children going up against a giant.
It would take coordination among people who have some pretty big divisions among them for it to work. I think it could, but yes, it could. And Trump is a pro at this too. People might call Trump one thing or another, but Trump is very good at operating in front of a live crowd. He is a performer, and if you think he's not expecting there to be a little bit of pushback, he definitely is, and he will respond. Probably, he is an insult comic, and he's good at it. And he also is going to have a large portion of the crowd. I don't know if you guys have any idea what the division might be, but there's going to be a lot of hardcore libertarians in that crowd, but there's also going to be people who go to every single MAGA rally in that crowd. So it's not just going to be a bunch of people that dislike Trump, and you have to win the audience before you can heckle successfully. And if the audience wants you to shut up and the majority of them are MAGA and they don't like you, then it's going to look very bad on you. It's going to make it very difficult. And I wonder if these conversations are being had by the organizers of the event. Do you guys have any idea?
I don't really have any inside knowledge, but I'm sure it is. But my outlook is I think it's just going to be a zoo. Like, there's going to be all these different.
It would be fun to see that, though. That's for sure.
It's going to be. Because I believe it's open to the public too. So there will be probably MAGA people coming in, and then there's already pissed off progressive libertarians who just don't even want him to be there.
It's a potential for just chaos, and you know what? Controversial advertising, all presses. Look at Kristi Noem. I'm of the opinion that Kristi Noem's dog story is just completely made up, and she's simply doing that to sell that stupid book.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Controversy marketing is all anybody uses nowadays. And if everything went smooth and there were no controversy or conflict, this is the other side of this coin, and the Libertarians chose a candidate and everybody was respectful, no media is going to cover it.
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged sword.
That's why it always happens.
Yeah.
There has to be something of a dumpster fire to get some kind of coverage or to merit the coverage that's coming to it. I've heard some whispers of some different factions of
totally.
One of them's going to react one way, one of them's going to react another way. But I don't know.
Let me give you an example.
The things that I'm hearing is how they're going to react to the guests in the House.
Right.
But they're still going to respect the parliamentary procedures of the party.
That's interesting. Yeah.
See,
I don't know all those procedures and those rules. Are there things that candidates could do that could get them in some sort of trouble if they break some of those rules?
Oh man, not that I'm Not that I'm aware of. Like, it would have to be during an official like gathering, whereas like a Trump speech, that's not going to be an official deal where like Robert's rules are in order and all that kind of crap. It will be just a speech. Like, so I don't
so it's wide open right now. Then this is
I think it'll be wide open.
That's going to be fun. so let me give you guys an example of what I'm thinking, and this is a very delicate line to walk, to balance. I grew up heckling at baseball games. That's how I got started just doing comedy when I was like 8 years old. My brothers and sisters are all 10 plus years older than me, and my brother who's closest in age, he played baseball at Georgia Tech, and I was like 8 to 11 years old the years that he played. And I would sit behind the dugout of the other team and just heckle to the point where the coach sometimes would come up to me after the game and be like, "I was good." Like, I would get compliments, it was encouraging my behavior, which now you can't do that at a baseball game because you can't bully the multi-million-dollar earning players on the field or they'll throw you out. But what I learned was to get your voice heard in that situation, you can't yell the same stupid shit everybody else yells, because these players, I've asked my brother about this before and other athletes, and playing basketball myself, you black out the same when you hear the same stuff over and over again. You black it out. You don't even hear it, no matter how loud it is. What you hear are the things that break that pattern and stand out. That makes people go, whoa. I hadn't had that one before, and of course you don't want to be like, "Oh, your sister's address is this, and I got her locked up in my trunk." That'll be a little too far. Would definitely stand out. But the point is to break that pattern, and that gets you through, and that actually does distract people. And I went to a game, this is years after my brother graduated, when I was in my 20s. I went back to go watch a game with a few of my friends at the theater because I said, "Hey, let's go. There's a Tech game tonight. I'm going to teach you guys how to heckle a baseball game." And they're like, "All right, let's go have some fun." And so we got there after the game had they already played a couple of innings, and our seats, I realized after we sat down that we were sitting in the middle. They were playing Alabama. We were sitting right in the middle of the Alabama parents and family section. We were surrounded by them. And the whole exercise was to go there and show my friends, because all these theater nerds, they're like, sports ball, and they're gay like that. And so I wanted to show them that you can have fun doing comedy at a baseball game too. And so I'd already decided we were going to heckle. And we just found this obstacle that we had to overcome now. It wasn't that we weren't going to do it. It was, how are we going to heckle now in a way that the family members of these players on the opposing team accept it and maybe even encourage it. And the way to do it, and take from the strategy whatever you will, if there's any candidates that happen to be listening, if you care about that, if you just want to cause chaos, and that shall happen. But I think you can get attention this way. But like people like Toad and Chase Oliver would have to come together to be like agree to work on. You know what I mean?
Good luck.
I started heckling them about the players at first, about their studies, and about how they better not be letting baseball get in the way of their grades. And so, but I yelled it really aggressively. I was like, "I hope you didn't not study for your test because of the game tonight," like stuff like that, Like I would just say something. I would take things their parents have probably been telling them their whole lives, and I would shout it aggressively at the players. And the parents started laughing, and they started heckling their own children because they thought it was funny. It helped that Alabama was winning the game. It wasn't a blowout, but they were winning by a couple of runs and ended up winning. And here, that analogy is Trump is winning. Trump is winning. So if you can approach this in a way where you start off by winning the crowd, not only the Libertarian crowd, winning the MAGA crowd by shouting things that MAGA people agree with and maybe even think are funny and maybe even are just silly, but you shout them aggressively, you get them on your side, and then you start to segue into more actual things that you want to ask, but you do that in a more respectful way. So the ridiculous shit, you shout aggressively. When you win them over, if you do, you then, the serious stuff, you tone it down a little bit and make it more respectable. And that's just kind of a mindset that I have in situations like that. Because you have to think about this stuff too when you're doing comedy, improv, and stand-up, is there's always going to be some drunk people. How am I going to handle that in a way that doesn't isolate them and make them feel terrible if they're not dickheads and they're just drunk, but also doesn't isolate the rest of the crowd, And it is hard to do, but it's doable if you have coordination. Any chance on coordination?
Have you been to a libertarian function before?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. No, there's like the least amount of coordination, especially between candidates that are trying to get the presidential nomination. Like half those people don't like each other. They don't want to hang out in the same room. I mean, a couple of them are kind of buddies, but it's not you need
frenemies,
surprising pairings that shouldn't like cooperate. Like, the
totally.
and Chase thing would be wild if that happened.
Well, like, are they willing to say, and I don't think that they are, that my enemy of my enemy is my friend or whatever it is? I don't think
I
that
feel like
Chase
Toad would do it. Chase would never do it.
Yeah, and that just, so to me, I'm always willing to go in with some people, even if I don't like them, as long as it's harmless on a good prank, you know. Yeah. Like that, I'd be like, that guy's a douchebag. I don't like being around him, but this is a really good prank, and we need him on board with it. Totally down with it. You think Toad has that mindset, but not Chase. And I think I could see that maybe. I think politicians today, probably mostly ever since the beginning of time, not all of them, but most of them, are so conditioned or just motivated by the self public relations stunt. And I think unless the candidate's chosen, like you said, there's still going to be that level of competition among them. Yes. That, quite honestly, as Denver says here, all coverage is good coverage. Maybe the absolute chaos nightmare is, in fact, the attention that they need. I don't know.
We said it was going to be a dumpster fire, but it has to be a very particular dumpster fire for it to go well for the LP.
Totally. And you're going up against a pro again in Trump. And I just can't imagine, though, like, maybe this is a cancel thing. Maybe, I always talk about how these activist trainers, they tell these people who are their protesters, we need to see black women getting pulled out of wheelchairs by police, plastered all over the front of the Chicago Tribune. So they call it bird dogging. You set it up. You go there with the intent on getting punched in the face so your buddy can snap the photo, and then your friend at the news organization can put it on the front page and demonize the one that you provoked. And there's going to be blame on both sides, but that's the idea. Maybe this is maybe getting drug out of a Trump speech at a libertarian convention is the angle. It's like, can you believe that Trump had the libertarians pulled out of their own convention and he refused to answer questions? I mean, that's a spin that I could see someone putting on it. I'm just brainstorming here. I don't know if this maybe they've already got this figured out, but I just think this is just a really unique situation that the Libertarian Party is going to be facing.
It is unique. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was pulling the plug on his microphone. So like they ask him a question, they give him the 30 seconds, and then like right at 30 seconds, they just pull the microphone.
Yeah.
And then the libertarians talking.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. So you know what Toad needs to do? Toad should do this. Toad needs to dress up like a McDonald's character, because Trump loves eating McDonald's. Yeah, he could dress up as Grimace.
Grimace is a great one.
Yeah, even MAGA people, I think, can laugh at Grimace. Go and say it. I'm a presidential candidate too, Mr. President. Whatever. Toad, if you're listening, choose your favorite McDonald's character to heckle Trump as, or Chase, whoever wants to take it.
Yeah.
The reason I don't think it'll happen. There's always wild cards. There's Toad, and like Josh Smith said that if he's the nominee and he can't get on the debate stage, they're going to have to arrest him.
That's what he said on the show, and that's why, like, I suspected that, but like, the problem is the other half. They're like all about respectability. They want to be like the man in the suit who's above it all, and they're the adult in the room, and that's Chase, and that's a lot of the others. So they're going to be either not in the room or they're going to be there being good little boy. I would like to see Mike Termott walk in and just start shouting, "Big lie, big lie," and then just listen to everybody in the crowd turn on him.
Yeah, there are certain people who will not be able to get away with heckling whatsoever.
No,
Mike is definitely.
He's not one of them. No, yes. Mike would be like, "Where's my VH camcorder operator to come film this event?" And my analog editing suite.
It is going to come down to somebody doing something dramatic during the Trump speech, because that's the big ticket item for this whole convention. Like, yeah, RFK is coming. That would have been incredible news if Trump hadn't already been coming.
Yeah, I know. Like, you even forget about RFK almost.
Yeah, and like Vivek, like he's debating our VP nominee, and so that's what's happening there.
When is that being chosen?
When are we picking VP? That's gonna be Saturday too now, right?
I think it'll be right after the president, so sometime during Saturday.
Yeah, so that should be picked Saturday as well.
And the debate between the VP and Vivek is going to be Sunday?
I believe so.
Hannah wants to know, by the way, where you can put money on the Libertarian nominee. So I wonder if, I'm guessing probably not, what's that, predictit.org, where you can bet on everything political except
It was on there
Libertarian?
last time. No, it was on there
Was it
last
really?
time. And some quack actually talks about Larry Sharp. That's how I won some money last time, because I knew that he was signed on to a certain person's ticket and wouldn't do it for anybody else. And when that person won, I bet against Larry, even though I like the guy, and I won a little bit of money because I knew he would drop out.
Interesting. So what do you guys think about Larry joining Lars Mapstead as a VP? At least they don't really join, but they're like promoting themselves together, right?
Yeah.
I like Larry. Lars doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that ticket should be flipped around, and it might have a little more credibility for me.
Interesting. Yeah.
Does it? I mean, look, I like Larry a lot, but he doesn't succeed in a lot of the things that he does. He's got great ideas, and he needs to be on some advisory board for some libertarian ticket, but he doesn't get, from me, I don't know much about him. He doesn't get much below, like, he's very surface in a lot. Like, he doesn't represent the kind of radicalness that I think libertarians He needs to run for something that isn't so far above what he can actually achieve.
Yeah.
Because if he was actually like
because he's black, is that what you're saying? I'm kidding. I'm just obviously.
If he ran for like mayor of a small town,
actual
than mayor of New York City, he might actually get something and like get something done. But like he's running for these positions because he's a super smart dude. He's thought out all of his ideas. He had really interesting thoughts for how to implement libertarian like policies in everyday life.
He's very active too. I feel like he's got a broad network within the party.
Yeah, he does. Everybody knows Larry Sharp, and generally most people like him.
I've never met him, but he seems like somebody who wouldn't even be mad at me for making that joke a moment ago. He seems like he's probably a pretty cool guy. I find it interesting. I'm guessing that him and Lars, I don't know what net worth the other candidates have. Maybe I'm way off. But it seems to me like they are just the most independently wealthy.
They're the money.
Yeah.
Well, because the big stories about Chase in the wake of the runoff that he triggered with Senator Warnock. All the stories. What was it? Rolling Stone did an article about how he lives in a basement.
Yeah.
Of course, it's like a duplex kind of rental situation. But they're like, he drives a late '90s sedan and lives in a basement.
I know, like a lot of times it's an insulting. Sure. Yeah. I think he takes care of his mom and stuff too. So like I remember him talking about that, and I definitely respect that. I don't know if they covered some of that. Yeah, but
and he's the only libertarian candidate to be in all 50 states campaigning before the convention.
He's committed. There's no doubt about it.
He's committed.
Yeah.
He definitely works hard at it. I have some personal grievances with Chase, so he will not be my pick, but he does work hard, and
I agree with you on that. I don't agree with everything that he. I don't agree with all of anyone's positions, but
very true.
What I can see that he does is he definitely practices his presentation. I asked him after the debate. I was like, "You were a theater kid, weren't you? Because you do this like the theater improv kids, if they got their shit together and would do it." And he said he did do a little bit of theater stuff. He's got that kind of natural theatrics that I'm not going to say a lot of gay people have, just over more than a small number of them have to them. But he is kind of harnessed it. Do what?
I heard Jake say that.
Under my breath for sure.
Yeah.
No, I think it's. I actually love his slogan, "Armed and Gay." I think that's it's a perfect slogan for a pro-gun gay candidate.
Yeah, and any pro-gun gay supporters.
And he told me, because I asked him about how he practiced, and he told me that he gets in front of the mirror and he does it. I mean, this is kind of stuff you do. Like if you're doing stand-up and other stuff, it can be uncomfortable and feel weird. But he said he gets up and does it, and he has his friends come in. And you know how they do the mock debates? At least they say they do them anyway. The presidential candidates will have one of their staff members pretend to be whoever they're debating. He was kind of doing that with one of his friends. And I just thought it was interesting, and I respected it. Because that's the only way to get better at shit like this, especially when you get a chance to face the big boys like Trump, who's as good as they get when it comes to the heckle. Don says Vivek is debating what if Ann Coulter moderates. What did she say about Vivek recently?
What did she say?
It was a very
surprised how articulate he was, and then proceeded to insult the entirety of the black community.
And that's another example of a person who recognizes, and there's a lot of people on X now, that you say these things at the edge of these, identity politics being one of them, and it's a lightning rod for media attention.
Yeah. Well, she recently said she couldn't vote for him because he was Indian. And it was like, not because he's Hindu or something like that, but like because you're Indian. And also she famously called libertarians pussies, which isn't wrong. But I mean, she might not be our biggest fan.
One candidate has made "Don't be a pussy" her entire marketing strategy and her TikTok style videos. I don't know if you guys have seen this Gomez girl running for
Valentina Gomez out of Missouri.
Oh yeah, so I love Valentina Gomez. If you haven't seen them, I did all like 8 of her videos on the show last night. She uses pussy and faggot in like half of them, and she is like the opposite of those girls who do the workout videos on TikTok with their tits hanging out, then they get mad at the dudes for looking at them. Yeah. She's the type of because the style of videos are the same. She's always working out. She's hanging like weighted chains on her, and she's wearing short shorts and lifting her legs into camera, so you're staring at her crotch. Except she's going to react differently. She's not going to say, "Stop looking at me," and yell. She's going to be like, "Don't stare at my crotch unless you're man enough to come over here and grab it by the pussy." Like a patriot would do. That's her attitude in all of her ads, and I love how committed she is to it.
She is crazy.
She's like running and just like she should just start throwing in like dudes in purple hair that she just punches as she's jogging in all of her ads.
Dude, the one where she announced that her address is public information, so
to Hamas.
Around and find out.
She's like, "You try and come rape me, Hamas. I've got enough strap-ons for every one of your assholes." I mean, that is how intense this chick is.
Yeah, she is intense.
She's definitely the predator. Like, she's
there's no doubt about it, dude. I mean, she would demand a guy, follow through on staring at her, and he would cower in her presence in the gym. Then she'd slam his head against the nearest bar, and she'd step over him, and she'd say, "Let's make Missouri great and less faggy again." And her website would flash up on the video.
I gotta go watch more of these videos.
Yeah, they're crazy, dude. I couldn't stop watching them the other night.
I can't wait for Austin Peterson to start catching on to that and start throwing her out, because he's also in Missouri. So
yes, he's a libertarian, right?
Yeah, well, he was.
Yeah,
yeah.
He ran in 2016. Is that correct?
Gary Johnson beat him. He gave Gary Johnson a replica flintlock pistol that was worth like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And Gary Johnson threw it in the trash.
What?
Yes. Like in front of him. It wasn't even like the next day.
He was high. Gary was high. He thought it was a water gun.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But that was when Austin left the party too, because he was like, What?
I remember him being he was very dramatic and well-spoken in the debate that I remember watching. There was a debate that the magician hosted. He's no longer a libertarian either, right? It was just, I think it was in Las Vegas, maybe.
It was Penn Jillette. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Penn Jillette, right.
Yeah, there's like 9 candidates on stage, and everybody was trying to say the most ridiculous thing. You had the guy who, actually very smart guy, I learned, but the guy who wears the shoe on his head or whatever.
Oh, yeah, Vermin Supreme.
Yeah. You don't think that he might be smart when you see the shoe on his head, but I watched a number of the debates preparing for the Georgia ones, and I'm like, this guy actually, if he took the shoe off his head,
he won't take the shoe off his head, man. He just won't. So he just won't. That's the issue. That's the embarrassment. I mean, one of the photos that's been going around is like a half naked guy up on the Libertarian Convention stage.
I remember that one. Yeah.
From what was that, a decade ago or whatever?
Yeah. And he's not even having sex with a gas pump. Yeah. That's the same
convention
convention
where Austin Peterson stood out. Yeah.
Okay, so is it like this is the 2016 convention? I feel like this one might even top that in different ways.
Man, I hope it doesn't top it in the ways you're thinking of.
Yeah.
I mean, something crazy is going to happen. There's
something
no
crazy
doubt
is
about
definitely going to happen. I mean, more press is going to be at this convention than we've ever had before. There's so many narcissists within this party.
Everywhere.
That somebody is going to take the spotlight and do whatever the heck they want with it, because the security is going to be lax, because it is at every libertarian convention.
Right. Half the people have multiple guns on them.
Vermin comes up every time I talk to non-libertarians.
Yeah. Some quack says Vermin comes up when they talk to non-libertarians in a good way or a bad way. Some quack, because I kind of heard the same too.
Well, in a totally bad way. I mean, it's one of the reasons we can't be taken seriously.
Yeah, nobody's like, I thought libertarians were racist until the guy with the shoe on his head really opened my eyes.
He promised me a free pony.
Yeah,
really won me over.
Yeah. I mean, the shoe on the head isn't even the craziest outfit that we've ever had at a convention. Last time we had a guy wearing fairy wings, fairy wings with no shirt.
Getting a couple steps away from a furry convention here.
And that person's name is Starchild.
Yep.
And they're apparently not a guy. I think that was offensive. So
I'm okay.
So this is a left-leaning libertarian.
I don't even know. Just leaning insane.
What are the main divisions in the party right now?
I mean, the border is the biggest.
Mises Caucus.
Mises Caucus for sure.
All right, so we got to keep I'm going to bring my other friend in who just joined us. I didn't even see the bottom of the screen here. Hopefully I didn't miss another guest because I didn't see that. I apologize. But I'm going to bring my friend here who's a non-libertarian just to listen and react to us and maybe chime in, because my position about libertarianism I brought this up at the debate. It's just always the people who are independents who are tired of all of it. How do you talk to them without mentioning all the economics books you've read, because they haven't read any of them, and they're probably cool with the drug stuff, and they're probably high. I'm not saying this person is. I'm just saying this is hypothetical. How do we communicate with them? So I just want to bring a non-libertarian just to be kind of a reactor to us more nerdy people talking. This is Justin, my friend Justin here. You can see he's very cool because he has guitars hanging on the wall. He is a good musician. And okay, so Hannah has a question. She says, "Is Michael Rechtenwald a foregone conclusion? More of a foregone conclusion, like some are making us think in winning the."
No, not a foregone conclusion whatsoever.
I didn't think so. Yeah,
I think there are three. I think there are three top contenders. I think it's Chase, Josh, and Rechtenwald. I think those are the three.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a surprise contender. Like Mike's not coming up out of nowhere. Lars isn't coming up, even if he partners with Larry Sharp.
Lars teaming up with Larry's like a grasp at relevance. I think he's just trying to grab whatever boost he can.
Right. Yeah. And he never mentions the elephant in the room, which is how he made a lot of his money, which he could spend that. I've talked about it before. He made his money through was it Friend Finder, which turned into Adult Friend Finder. Yeah. So he's branded as a porn guy. I haven't heard him address that, and when that's what people are saying, and you don't, I think you lead with that. I think you say I get attacked for this, but here's the thing: my companies that I were associated with were cyber hacked, and all of this data and stuff was leaked. And the things that I've learned about cyber hacking, which is one of the biggest threats in modern society, like he could spin it to like he's a cybersecurity expert or whatever, but he's ignored it, and you can't win that way.
No,
it's kind of hard to hang your hat on family values when you're tied to that kind of stuff, right?
Right, especially when titties are hanging all over it. Yeah.
I don't think people will be able to get over how he looks like the comic book guy from The Simpsons. I mean, he's bald with a ponytail and a little large. I don't know. Like, people are going to notice that and make fun of it.
Right, and that's the thing you learn when you first do comedy is you have to point out those elephants in the room. So if you look a specific way, so if you go up there and you have, you're like that girl who has two heads who just got married to a former military person. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Which he married one of them, right? Not the other. So every time he makes love to the one he married, he's actually raping the other one. But let's not talk about that at all. So you're that girl with the two heads.
Or the other one's actually into it, Roll Tide.
Yeah, right. and you start doing routine, and you don't bring up that you have a second head, nobody's going to listen to your routine or take anything you say for any relevance because they're like, what about the second head? You got to work the shit in that people is primary on the top of their minds. And even if you look, and looks is definitely like, that's the easiest way to win a crowd over in stand up is if you looked a distinct way and you simply just point it out. Yeah, because it satisfies it. And Lars has a distinct look. My friend John, you heard everybody laugh when he said the Metallica thing.
Yep.
It's because everybody's like, oh yeah, yeah. Or I don't even know if that's what Metallica looks like, or just like
it's because Lars Ulrich is their drummer.
Okay. So the name was recognizable, and also Lars seems like a name of somebody who would have long hair. I don't think you name somebody Lars and then they grow up to have like a military style haircut.
I mean, obviously, I'm okay with long hair, but if I ever go bald in the middle, it's over.
Right. Yeah.
That's very fair.
Yeah. We will cure that one day, and then they might. They'll cure it probably. We'll start seeing all these political leaders having great heads of hair up until they're mid 100s. You know, they'll be 112. Great head of hair.
Neil Bortz always said that's who won the presidential elections, anyways. Who had the best head of hair?
And you know, he might be right about it. Like this perception of everything is so very important.
I'm thinking back on all the presidential elections now. You might actually be right.
Like Kennedy,
way better than Clinton's. I'll tell you that. Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like Hillary Clinton, she was not. When she got blowjobs under the table, she was just very violent about it. And you can't do that as a leader. So Hulk Hogan says otherwise about what, Nate? Oh, about the long hair. Hulk Hogan's got great long hair, and his wife or his ex-wife looks exactly like his daughter and his second wife. So that's weird, but that's a true thing. If you want to look that up,
yeah. But if you have the physique of Hulk Hogan, you don't have to worry about your ponytail or your long hair.
And like, you know, that's what I like about RFK is RFK does these videos of himself working out.
He does.
Vivek does the tennis videos, and I make fun of it, but they're showing that they can do things physically that Joe Biden, maybe Trump, definitely Trump, can't do. And
Trump do a push-up.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit of that.
Definitely on steroids, though.
Of course, dude.
Yeah.
He's a kid.
At least testosterone, like a lot of it.
Oh yeah, he said he's taking testosterone. I think.
Yeah, he should.
Justin.
What's up?
What's your perception, just off the cuff, of the Libertarian Party? When you hear a Libertarian, what do you think?
I don't even know, man.
You don't even know what you think.
Really?
You're the ideal person to win over too. Like,
I don't know. The middle of the road.
Justin's a conspiracy theorist. He's like me in a lot of ways, and he thinks Biden, like he's like all of it. Like we've talked about it. You get fed up with it, and so I just think this is a demographic that can be won over if the communication is right. And Josh Smith, in my opinion, communicates best with people like Ridgway here. But you don't like. There's not. You don't. What do you know about the Libertarian Party?
Was Ross Perot part of the Libertarian Party?
First name,
independent.
He was an independent though. But
okay.
Yeah.
Reform Party.
Yeah.
Ron Paul, is that? What do you know about Ron Paul?
No, I said Ross Perot.
I know, but I'm asking you. Have you ever heard of Ron Paul?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
And it's so like among libertarians, like we assume everybody just knows Ron Paul.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think that's the case.
Is he the old dude with the white hair?
That's him. He's that old dude with white hair.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ron Paul,
that's known for actually is just being an old dude with white hair.
Yeah. Which Ridgway, something that you would like about him is he was the first, when he was a congressman, he was the first congressman, and I think still maybe the only one to hit an out of the park home run during the congressional baseball game back in the 70s. Yeah. He's
in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, if I had known that, I would have.
You're a baseball fan.
Giving him an extra
watch
look.
his videos, you would like them, but they just whenever they bring them on mainstream news that people see, or they did in the past, it was serious. Hey, we have Ron Paul. Hey, Ron Paul, did you ever stop that random weirdo in Texas who said he's trying to have sex with you? And like it's like, did you denounce that one crazy person that we made up? And then Ron Paul just rips the thing off and says, you guys aren't serious, and says something funny, then walks off. And that's like the only exposure that people who didn't discover him on YouTube or weren't fed up with one of the two parties ever had of him. And I think even bringing Ron Paul's old videos and materials back in and connecting that with people like Justin or other young people, and then having that be as a bridgeway, Justin Ridgeway, to the current candidates, like linking them together, or just the current candidates. I know everybody's doing their social media strategy. I run into so many instances where I hear nothing but either completely misguided understandings of libertarians from people who aren't them, or flat out wrong, where it's like, oh, the racist, white nationalist, white Christians. And I've been like racking my brain. And I think this convention, I'm really thinking about going, I want to learn just what the broader Libertarian Party is. I know you guys and people at the debate, but I really like to see the inner workings and how they intermingle, because I can't wrap my head around connecting that to the average individual citizen in a way that, other than how Ron Paul did it. He was so good at it. You know what I mean?
He was so good at it.
Wait, what year was that, by the way?
It was 1920. No, I'm kidding. No, it was
2012.
2012 and
right?
2016.
I remember that shit.
Yeah.
You
would like
2012.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Most people that I talk to who don't know anything about the Libertarian Party, most of them say, "Oh, you're like right down the middle. Like you're a little bit of both conservative or both Republican and Democrat, or you're fiscally conservative and socially liberal or whatever." And that it's just the most common misconceptions. And it does, after a while of seeing how many people believe that or think that or have no idea what our party is about, it does kind of drain you having to explain exactly what the LP is about over and over and over and over. Yeah.
Well, it's hard too, because there's so many competing definitions. Like, I think libertarians are basically freedom maximalists. Like, we want as much freedom as possible. And for some people, that means being like all the way anarchist. And for other people, that means a little small government. But there are people in the party who I think like definitely muddy that. And they just want like an efficient government.
Yeah.
Like even Chase, who I like and I'm friends with, he's like, I think we should go back to the 2019 budget. And I'm like, yeah, things were out of control in 2019 too. But
yeah, right. And you guys talked about language a little bit on your show earlier tonight, like the meaning of democracy. The meaning of freedom is also one of those words that has so many different definitions and is used to manipulate by never really defining it by our media and the other parties, that you can rope people into something that you tell them is freedom that is actually just bigger government and more policies.
Yeah, I mean, everything gets misconstrued and appropriated to whatever agenda somebody has. Like, who was the chick on that British show that interviewed Jordan Peterson that one time, talking about what about my right to not be offended? It's like, like that's not a right. That's not a right. That's not what freedom is. You don't have the freedom to not be offended. You don't have the people use words and change the definitions of words to whatever they
meet whatever agenda they serve.
Yes, exactly. And so it's hard to, especially in today's day and age, which we were just talking about this on our show, like you mentioned, like I just think with the deluge of information that you get on the internet, with all the different sources that you can be referencing, that you can be citing, you're never going to find the same definition of one word. And so no one's ever on the same page, which means we can never actually find a base on what to agree on and what to disagree.
Right. Yeah.
It makes it impossible it's already impossible for 330 million people to live cohesively under one government.
Yeah. We were designed to live in the wilderness. Us as a species are.
Amen. That's why I'm moving there.
Yeah. And it is interesting that these two mega parties, the or uniparty, as some call it, the Democrats and the Republicans, while they don't seem to be able to agree on much, they can coordinate despite their differences on the surface to go after the libertarian. We'll set our differences aside to go after the libertarians. Back to the question of, can the libertarian candidates set aside their differences and come up with an effective strategy to maximize their exposure off of Trump being at the debate? And I have up on screen here just the national convention. What events are you guys looking forward to the most there? Are you guys going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Me and Zach are going. And anybody else saying, most of the Liberty Libations crew is going up there for it.
one of the guys from our county affiliate is a delegate, though. We are sending him. So
nice. Nice.
You guys know who he's voting for?
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me.
Yeah, I know who he's voting for. I mean, I'm really looking forward to Vivek and Clint Russell going at it.
So is that people think Clint is probably going to get the vice president nod?
I think Clint's going to get
that. Seems like a foregone conclusion, honestly. Yeah. But
I honestly couldn't tell you another human who's running for our VP nomination at this point in time.
Yeah, other than Larry from earlier.
That's true.
Yeah.
But and also people may drop down. Like if Chase doesn't win president, he has the option to run for vice president.
Is there like an open call where it's like an open mic? If you sign up before a certain time, you can run for vice president. Jump in that debate?
You may have to get like so many sponsors. Like maybe I couldn't do it if I couldn't get 10 people to vouch for me. But it's about that easy.
Yeah. Yeah. No. After we did the debate and I saw Toad, and then I didn't realize Clint was going to be running for VP until after he was already going to be moderating with us. But I was like, man, that's a really great way to market your podcast. Why didn't I think of doing that?
Well,
doing
all you
one
do
of those.
is like 10 people, and you can get up on stage, and people do that just so they can get up and like give their little spiel, like I hate this guy and that guy, whatever. I got people to sign my papers so I can get up here and say this.
Hell yeah.
And then they might endorse like one of the candidates and get off the stage. Like there will be plenty of nonsense like that.
So that's interesting. That's an opportunity for somebody who plans as well to give rouse some people up. Hannah says most people I see libertarians as just a wasted vote or a vote for Trump. No interest in knowing what they believe. And I see that a lot too, which to me, I just always go back to like that's the oldest propaganda technique in the book is the either or. Like you either vote for this or that, or you're voting for evil, or you don't get a say if you don't vote. I'm like, no, fuck you. No, like that makes me want to actually organize a get out the don't vote campaign when people start saying shit like that.
Yeah,
because it's bullshit.
I already think my vote is worthless anyway. I don't care. Like,
right.
It doesn't make a difference.
Well, and that's the beauty of the Libertarian Party, though, is none of the above crushes. Because that's always an option for anything that we put up within the party, and none of the above kicks ass half the time.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, what is the? I think I cut you guys off before we answered fully. I wanted to bring Justin in. What are some of those divisions again that people on the lean a little more left versus lean a little more right have?
Well, Stephen nailed it. One of the biggest things that's been happening over the past 2 years is the Mises Caucus takeover. And that has caused people to lose their minds and go off the rails. I've been getting physical mail, like in my mailbox, talking about how the Mises Caucus is destroying the party. It's running it into the ground and doing it all on purpose.
Let me hold that thought. Hold right where you are. Justin, do you know what the Mises Party is?
The Mises Party?
Yeah, like the soup.
Yeah, I love that soup.
Okay,
dude.
so what is Jake? What? Because I looked a lot of that up. I was trying to understand it myself before the debate. What for people who don't know what that is? What is the Mises Party? A little bit of the background leading up to that takeover.
Yeah, Zach, why don't you take it?
So basically, they're within any political party, or even within like the Senate or the House, there are things called caucuses where people who are like-minded get together and pool their votes so that it's not just one guy in the wilderness voting here and there, but you have more power banding together.
Yeah.
And prior to let's go back like maybe 10 years ago.
So it's a club. It's a group.
Basically, yeah. Like 10 years ago, the Libertarian Party was more embarrassing than it is now. I'll just say that, because I won't say that we're not embarrassing, but it was very bad. I think, they ran people like Bill Weld, who's not a libertarian. He's a war hawk Republican.
Yeah, people who co-opted, basically.
Yeah. It was co-op, and like even before that, there was Bob Barr, who had, he's all right, but he's not a libertarian. He's
CIA guy.
Georgia.
Oh wait,
no, that's
sorry.
No,
I know you're talking about, but I don't remember his name. So basically, all the Ron Paul people got together and were like, "All right, Rand Paul didn't work out. Republican Party's not working out. So we're going to take over the Libertarian Party and make it what it should be." And they called it the Mises Caucus because there's an economist called Ludwig von Mises who agrees. They agree with on most things, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
They came in, they joined the party, they got active in like state affiliates and local affiliates and started taking those over to build up to the national convention, just like we're doing right now. And the first time they were not successful.
So it's like to get the Libertarian house in order, kind of. So I'm thinking to that guy's speech, the Catholic speech, Harrison Butker the other day, where he was talking about Catholic leaders are leading us astray. We can't trust them anymore. We need to get the Catholic house in order. Exactly. And it sounds like it's something kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, the Libertarian National Party didn't make a statement about lockdowns, didn't protest anything about government.
They were pro-mask
in 2020. They were pro-mask during 2020. And so, it was the Mises Caucus that decided that needed to end. And so I actually joined the Mises Caucus before I joined the Libertarian Party.
So it was this last convention that Mises dominated. Like the entire convention was either Mises people voting basically as a block or people crying about it. There was really no in between.
Yeah.
Right.
And now we are, I guess, was it 2 years later, something like that, and we're going into another national convention where like things haven't been perfect, like there hasn't been a complete turnaround, but I think it's been better than it was. Like we're not embarrassing ourselves with washed up Republican candidates who really aren't even libertarian at all.
Yeah.
But
and that was often what it was used for, is that you put somebody in to pretend and they go back to the Democrat Party. I think, what was the story about Bill Weld where maybe I'm misremembering this. And I'm just seeing some of the comments on Rockfin. Sorry, I was behind another screen. I missed some of them. And I'll get to some of those in a minute. But he was like shared an office or something with Hillary or one of Hillary's days. Maybe I'm completely misremembering that. But he was just basically a Democrat.
He basically endorsed Hillary while he was running.
Yeah.
And the Mises Caucus is not wearing the mask, right? So, Justin, I know that you probably would, if you were like, what is the Libertarian Party? And someone was like, oh, it's that group over there who are all like, let's put on our mask and stay 6 feet away from each other. You'd probably not want anything to do with that party, right?
Yeah, dude, that seemed like weirdos to me.
Yeah. So the Mises Caucus is the opposite of that. Like the freedom of not forcing people to wear a mask and not forcing people to shut down and shit like that.
Yeah, dude. You gotta work on that name. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, it's not great.
Mises, dude. That's just not really a good name. I'm sorry.
Well, he doesn't like it.
Nah, dude.
There's not a whole lot we
Mises.
can
That
do
sounds
about
like
it.
some Lord of the Rings stuff. Like
That sounds great. What are you talking about? Lord of the Rings,
dude.
some of the
Hey,
best.
that might be an
ever
appeal, though. So there probably is a segment that you can win over with that appeal. Justin, this is some advertising ideas.
written.
Yeah.
Right there.
Hell yeah, dude.
Well, there also are joke caucuses, and one of them is the Middle Earth Caucus, which I'm a member of.
Oh yeah.
So,
Really?
Oh yeah. I'm in that too.
That's Lord of the Rings, right? Middle Earth?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's oceans inside the Earth that they dwarf the size of the ocean. This is true. Well, according to these studies, they dwarf the size of the water on the surface that has been leaking, according to these studies, which I've read like 4 of them now. And I even emailed one of the people who did the research who didn't email me back. And I'm pretty sure I know why. Because it talked about how the consequences of this inner core water, which has been leaking to the surface since the beginning of time, is rising sea levels, and it just completely kind of transforming our environment in different ways. So I emailed him, was like, hey, could this explain some of the climate change bullshit? I didn't get an email back from that guy.
Marcus spam.
Yeah, no, definitely. So that's neither here nor there. How many candidates, or which candidates would you say align closer to the Mises Caucus versus ones that are on the opposite, or the other who don't? I should say, not opposite.
Well, Rechtenwald is the official Mises candidate, and then Josh Smith, I'd say, is Mises adjacent.
Yeah.
And then Mike Termott has tried to associate himself with Mises. I don't know how successful it's been, but
he'll throw anything
Josh,
against the wall.
Josh was one of the not founders, but he's one of the original Mises members, like back in before I was around or any of us were around, but he didn't get chosen as their endorsement.
Yeah. Yeah. And Forrest, I give Mike Tremont a hard time just because he's a cop and he was a dick to me when I first met him. So that's where that is. Forrest Mommy says that Mises gets the importance of local work for the party.
Yes, 100%. That's our whole basis is trying to get people elected at the local level, sheriff, mayor, city council, whatever it is. Because if you can reach out and touch the people around you, physically touch the people representing you and deciding the rules, you have a better chance of affecting change at the local level.
And those are winnable.
Oh, 100%. We win local races all over the United States, like all the time.
Yep. Yeah.
There are Mises Caucus mayors right now. At least one I know of is like Aaron Lamb in Colorado. I believe he's still mayor. He might have moved on to something else, but he was mayor of his little town and just running it the way that he felt it should be.
Yeah, everybody's armed. Everybody, they can do drugs. They don't because they have personal responsibility, which is also fundamental. That's what I love about the Libertarian Party. It's like we can do any drug we want, but we're not going to.
There we go. Don, I like this comment. Scott Horton for Secretary of State. 100%. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Forrest Mommy ran up in California or Colorado.
Yeah.
Won like 40% against somebody who's a 12-year politician.
Yeah, she had a great campaign.
Did a great job. That just shows what you can do. I know now they do have the Soros money and stuff like that they try to bring into the local, which I think it's pretty obvious to notice when that's going on. I think the co-opting of someone who's building momentum is what, if I were someone running locally, I would be very wary of. Someone trying to get into my campaign and sabotage it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Libertarians are always paranoid about
the main opposing caucus to Mises is the classical liberal caucus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that term a lot lately. I don't exactly know what everyone says it means.
That's been another explanation throughout the ages of what a libertarian really is we are the classical liberals. We are the, what Ben Franklin, the Ben Franklin kind of liberty guy, just without the underage girls.
You have bones underneath your house and you cheat on your wife all the time.
That sense, but the founding fathers talking about them being liberals in the sense that what they were opposing was the monarchy.
Yeah.
Absolute tyranny, that kind of thing. So they were seen as liberals of their time, but in today's age, they would be libertarian because they were kind of freedom maximalists.
And but they've just fucked the language so much they just shifted, and so you gotta. Yeah, I see. That's
So the classical liberal caucus, they're the ones that think that the Mises Caucus are just big meanies, and they want to go back to the roots. They like the blue hairs that were running things before.
Yeah,
those are the ones that are not scared to call themselves the left-leaning libertarians.
Well, so somebody said something about left-leaning libertarians in the chat's being an oxymoron. I've seen people describing it that way on social media, and I look at some accounts of people who are claiming to be libertarians, and they got a mask in the profile, maybe a Ukraine flag. I'm just like, a libertarian doesn't seem like a libertarian.
Yeah.
And that caucus
and their messaging, because they're upset with the Mises Caucus for being so bombastic. Because the Mises Caucus, they're the flamethrowers. They're the ones that like to stir the pot and harness the chaos.
Yeah, and they don't like those other faggots trying to do all that fucking middle ground shit.
That's right.
I'm kidding. I'm going back. I've been in the mode of that girl's campaign ads ever since I watched them. Like, I want to go start jogging and just making aggressive videos. Yeah, go ahead.
They focus more on the propriety of things. They see themselves as the adult in the room.
They want to be welcomed into the club, maybe.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And that's an outgrowth from a different caucus that dissolved after Mises kind of whooped them, called the Libertarian Pragmatist. So you can see like what was important to them is right in their name. It's like, let's be adults. Let's be polite. Let's talk well and wear suits.
Yeah.
And they put that over any sort of actual freedom message. And this is kind of the second iteration of that.
But oddly enough, a lot of those are the ones that are just totally excited that RFK is coming and are actually willing to nominate him as the presidential candidate for the party.
Yeah.
Well, he's not a libertarian in any sense, really.
Not
in one sense only.
One, yeah.
Medical freedom.
Yep.
That's it.
Everything else, nah, dude's a commie.
And I feel like medical freedom when it comes to certain jabs.
Right. Like he'll put his dick in anything, but he doesn't want the needle.
That's exactly.
So look at some of the events here.
Yeah.
I know, maybe a little bit smaller. There's a comedy show one night. I saw that. It's really the only thing that piqued my attention.
Thursday night, Dave Smith, Robbie the Fire Bernstein doing some comedy.
Alex Stein.
Which I like Alex Stein's live where he messes with people. Not a huge fan of his show, but he's somebody who's a good example of someone who's willing to go do the crazy thing to call attention to something. So I can definitely appreciate that. That's interesting. This dude's funny as shit right here. Lou, yeah. Yeah, he's super funny. He killed it on Gutfeld the first time he went on a few months ago. He's
nice.
Funny dude.
Nice.
So that'll be fun.
That'll be a good one. Robert Breedlove, super excited about him.
Who's he?
He's a Bitcoin guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm a huge proponent for Bitcoin, and he is a giant in the space. He relays Bitcoin to the normal person so well, because that's a very hard thing for a lot of people to understand, and a lot of people to like, especially older folks, to comprehend.
I'm still wrapping my head around it. Justin, what Bitcoin? I know. Do you have a lot of Bitcoin in your life, Ridgeway?
Oh yeah, man. I got like, a couple bucks, invested in it.
Yeah, I like to go in gas stations.
I'm good to go.
Yeah, I like to say, did anybody find my Bitcoin anywhere? Did you find? But what? So yeah, Bitcoin is. I know the halving was recent.
Yeah,
and that is definitely because that can decentralize and separate from the system. Do you worry about that being co-opted as well?
No, it can't be co-opted. That would take so many people holding their Bitcoin to actually sell their Bitcoin to very specific people for it to be co-opted.
Oh, okay. So that'd be huge whales.
Millions and millions of people would have to voluntarily sell their Bitcoin. That's just not going to happen. And even then, like no, I have complete faith that Bitcoin is the money of the future.
I hope, because I have some of it, and I would like for it to increase in value. So that's what I hope for. I see the enemies of the state. Is this I know there's a Dancing with the Stars. Are you guys participating in the dance contest at the Libertarian Convention?
Didn't even know there was one.
Yeah.
Until you just said.
Yeah. Well, Angela put out a call for dancers. I submitted all of you guys. So you guys are beautiful dancers.
Rechtenwald is in it.
He is. Yeah.
Lori Price, who seems batshit insane. So we'll see.
No.
Lori Price. I'm not familiar with her.
It's just a friend of his. It was his first campaign manager, and I think she kind of got the boot for being too crazy. But
yeah.
Oh boy.
That's definitely interesting. What if he just can dance? What if people are crying? They're in tears because of how beautiful of a dancer Rechtenwald is. Does that help his chances?
That would help him.
Maybe. I'll apologize.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were so graceful.
That'd be a first. I don't like the guy's economic policy, but have you seen his interpretive dancing?
Damn, he makes me so wet when he dances, though.
And you were just looking at all the events, but I got to say, I'm just there to hang out. And I don't care if I go to any events because there will be, parties and
it's going to be debauchery, I think, and fun
yeah.
for sure.
Probably.
I'm definitely thinking about. I'm starting to lean towards going for sure. I got press credentials, So I'm an authoritative source, obviously,
dude.
now.
Heck
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you, dude.
So, yeah.
I registered for some too.
dude. Wow.
So I was gonna go over a couple of more stories that you guys. I love to have you stay and comment on them with me. I know it's late. You guys have done a show, so if you got to go, I understand too. But before I got to that, is there anything that you want to say? First of all, tell everybody where they can find what you guys are working on. I know you guys are all involved in a lot of different things. Liberty Libations, definitely every Thursday night, right at 8.
8 p.m.
Yeah, a great show. It's a fun show. I always get killed at the trivia, but I get the sports question right usually when you guys ask that one. But tell everybody what you do, and if there's just anything that a message that you think is important that you want to get out, say that as well. Whoever wants to go, we'll just go. Zach, tell us where we can find you and whatever else you want.
Yeah, basically the same as all these guys. I'm on Liberty Libations every now and then. That's with Jake's production company, Peaceful Sea, on YouTube, and on Rumble is Liberty Libations. And then I'll have some stuff coming out soon. It's not really launched yet, but me and another friend are doing, going to be starting a podcast called Banish Big Brother. So go to banishbigbrother.com and sign up there if you want to be notified of it. And a new website will be launching soon, and a podcast and all the stuff. So right now you'll just see a landing page, but it'll get you on the list to be notified when everything else comes out.
Fantastic. Jake?
Yeah. My company is Peaceful Sea Productions. You can go to peacefulsea.network. You can look at all the podcasts I produce. I produce documentaries as well. The big one we're focusing on right now is Liberty Libations every Thursday night at 8 on primarily Rumble, but we also have YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Odyssey, all the major ones.
Awesome. And you also have at least one film on Amazon. Great cinematographer, do great work. So this group of guys, just all together, is like a get shit done group here. I would describe you guys as.
We're trying to. It's hard to get shit done when you're all living in completely different cities, some in different states.
Right.
It gets a little difficult, but I do have a documentary out on Amazon called Divide and Dominate. Came out a couple years ago. It's about how we're powerful, steal more power from us every day, and they're never going to give it back.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great documentary. Check it out. Steven?
Liberty Libations, every Thursday at 8. And I am going to be working on another side project soon with Jake, but it's still so far in its infancy, I can't really hype it up just yet.
Fantastic.
It'll come out on Peaceful Sea Network for sure.
That's
awesome.
right.
Ridgway, what about you? I know anything that you want to say or you want to direct people to. Ridgway is he's a musician, an actor. He's a lot of things as well.
Oh yeah,
very talented guy. And we started a landscaping company for one day a few weeks ago.
Landscaping company. You can find me at the club getting drunk Saturday, Sunday nights.
Just any club.
Come out. Any club. Just I'll be there.
Perfect.
Yeah, will you be playing music or you'll just be
anything. I'll be playing music, I'll be drinking.
Yeah.
Shaking hands.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you got to shake hands.
Taking pictures.
Especially if they're wearing a mask. You got to shake hands, take pictures. All right, fantastic. So you guys want to stick around, cover a couple stories that I thought were interesting?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's do it then. The news is just, it's to a point where it's almost like we're going to have to start being really serious with the news and act like we're actually respectable, because I don't know how much more ridiculous they can get with, a hush money trial featuring Pecker and Stormy, and then having Stormy's boyfriend being interviewed, whose name is like Rod Steele or some weird shit like that. Using innuendos about, did everybody really get behind Stormy? How did she feel when everybody was behind her? Like a serious face, the CNN anchor said this, and I'm just like, this is so stupid, what I'm watching right now. But I continue to watch it. But this is the dumb headline of the day that I saw today. Politico, Biden's aides worry about psychological torment as Hunter heads for trial. Just soak that in for a second. Trump is indicted 4 times. He's on trial. But Politico has a story about the worry of Joe's psychological... Basically, putting Hunter on trial is the equivalent of attempting to murder the president, is my initial takeaway of this, and some of the language they use in this article. Like, so the whole idea is, I've seen a few stories like this here and there about Hunter, that these prosecutions and this focus on him could trigger him back into drugs.
Oh, totally.
Back into, as though he ever left.
He's very sober. He's very smart.
Yeah.
And he is very
Yeah,
smart.
dude. And if you do anything to his son, you're gonna kill this man. All right.
To Hunter, to Joe's son, right.
Yeah, dude.
Which is interesting because you do anything to Hunter's son, nobody knows because they like refuse to admit the kid existed or the daughter for 4 years.
Yeah, that was.
Well, Biden still won't claim them as a granddaughter, grandson, whatever it is, like the stripper's son or whatever.
Yeah, he'll shower with them. He won't claim them.
Yeah. So, are they saying the aides worry about psychological torment of Hunter or of Joe?
Well, here, I'll show you what. So it says, while the aides insist that the White House will have no involvement in the case, this is a little bit down in the article, they fear it could dramatically impact the president himself, more psychologically than politically. You know, you don't want the president breaking down psychologically. They also talk about how he wakes up in the morning worried about this, Joe does, and he goes to bed at night, which I'm like, don't you have some other things to be worried about other than that? And this is the charges over the gun charges he had. And 3 advisors who obviously are not going to give a name because there's never again will there be a source that can be identified.
It's just sources say.
Absolutely. They said, it's weird how they said this. The 3 advisors granted anonymity to speak about private deliberations said that they and members of the First Family are worried about the weight Hunter Biden's trial will place on the president at an already difficult time for him politically. Biden has expressed fears to them about the possibility his son will serve prison time, saying, "How will I be able to shower with my boy in prison?" I made up that last sentence, but the rest of it actually in the article.
No, he didn't.
And get this is the best part about it here. Like, it's just the audacity. They must think, they must either do this kind of stuff to get hate views, or they must just think that their loyal readers and audience are the stupidest people on the planet.
Well, it's Politico, so yes.
Yeah, all right. So, hold on. Here it is. On Tuesday, in a federal courthouse in Delaware, Abby Lowell, Hunter Biden's attorney, revealed that Hunter, was struggling to prepare for the gun trial in time, saying his team was strapped for resources and that he had not yet signed on any expert witnesses. He's strapped for resources, and I know what people might say, okay? They might be like, what about the $7,000 a month allowance that he gets from his father? Not a month, excuse me, a week. A week that he gets from his father. What about the $6.5 million he's got from his sugar bro, which has been covered extensively since 2009, or the $2.7 beach house his father bought for him, or the $50,000 a month from Burisma he had? Have you seen the prices of crack right now? Have you seen how much crack and a hooker costs right now? You can barely afford to do the drug yourself for a week.
You, dude. Inflation, man. It's killing everybody.
Absolutely. So Hunter Biden obviously strapped for resources. This is to make an argument that Hunter Biden, we should feel sorry for him because he's strapped for fucking resources when he's literally a fake artist that is the front for a money laundering. He has been a career front for money laundering organizations internationally, but he's strapped, and his daddy's sad because his son might go get to have sex in prison.
I think he needs to use the Sam Bankman-Fried tactic here and just say he's autistic and can't stand trial.
Yeah.
It didn't work out very well for.
I mean, the biggest financial crime ever in history, dude's getting off because he was autistic.
So yeah, right. His parents are the ones that really kind of did a lot of that too.
Yeah. So, Hunter could just use that and case closed.
Yeah, and then they can reveal. So we've already seen all the weird, just drug-induced Hunter Biden stuff from his laptop. But we haven't seen the everybody, including Hunter and his orbit, is severely autistic sex tapes. Like
There we go.
From the Sam Altman-Freed, this weird girl. I mean, that was some weird shit.
That was some weird stuff.
Speaking of which, what is the over/under on the percentage of autistic people at the Libertarian National Convention next week?
90.
20% minimum.
There's a division in 90 and 20.
He said 20 not.
Oh, 20,
I say 90 are.
Yeah, I was going to say minimum 20% is.
Minimum. Minimum, yes. Yeah, I'd say it's closer to 50, 60, 70%.
And I don't mean to make fun. I don't even understand what a definition of that is. I
at this point I don't either.
I'm OCD. I identify as OCD. So I can just be like, they're like, what happened? What'd you do? I'm like, that's my OCD. Just leave me alone. And then I'll just shame them into just like, I was 2 hours late and I forgot everything you asked me to do. It's my OCD.
That's definitely your OCD. No, you have time blindness. You heard that?
That's a thing. Yes, I have heard of that. It's not wrong in some things, but I'm not trying to make fun of people. I joke about stuff that I'm probably autistic. Like I'd probably be diagnosed with if I went to a doctor. Yeah.
Does anybody actually believe that Hunter Biden's actually going to go to jail? Like they never do. They never do. When was the last time somebody in the public eye associated with a high-ranking political figure actually went to jail and stayed in jail?
Jeffrey
he's
Epstein
stay
didn't
inside
last,
his house, and that's tough, dude. Because you can't leave, and you gotta fucking order shit
international.
in
You gotta
all the
traffic
time.
the hookers in. You gotta Uber
dude,
Eats.
You can't.
crack.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to commit crimes just to live. Yeah.
What they're trying to do with Hunter and all this bullshit is they're trying to make it look like the justice system is fair. Well, they're going after Trump, but they're also going after the president's son.
Yep.
Well, I feel like this is the definition of hoisted by your own petard, because it's like Biden, who is responsible for making a lot of these drug laws and making prisons horrible rape cages, is now afraid that his son is going to have to go there.
Right.
So I
think he's worried that he won't be the one raping him. He doesn't want anybody else raping his son. Which he had plenty of opportunities to let Hunter be the one who got to do the afternoon shower, but he always chose his daughter.
There you go.
Yep.
You guys seen the stuff with the diary where Snopes changed their fact check? They're like, oh, it is real. No fucking shit.
Yeah.
People who aren't brainwashed have been saying it's real for 3 years or however long it's been. And
so long, man.
Yeah, the argument some people are making are, and this is true. Maybe she didn't say how old she is. Maybe she was 3 years old, or maybe she's just a baby. And I'm like, well, she's listing off reasons why she might have been molested. And that's one of the things included in the list is probably inappropriate showers. And she has a great memory if she was a baby. And fathers don't give their baby a bath and then everybody start going, you pedophile, because that is not what we're talking about here. But that is how the people who want to just insist that Joe Biden is not a creepy fuck are trying to portray this.
Yeah. Well, it said that she stayed up late. There's no 3-year-old staying up late to take a shower by themselves.
Right. kids looking around, crawling to the bathroom.
Long night, dude.
Hey, Grandpa, I want to see the way your leg hair looks in the water.
I got hair leg. Yeah. You guys saw Biden's video where he was challenging Trump, where he just looked so formidable, and he goes, "I'll even do it twice."
Yeah.
Like Amy Biden has flashbacks.
14 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he used to tell her he'd do it twice, and the second shower was always the worst for her. So that was not a good ad. I'm sorry. I'm just who gives a shit at this point. They're not serious. I feel like I don't have to be serious about them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think laughing at them is powerful. So
it is. I don't get the Dark Brandon thing. Like I feel like the Dark Brandon thing is not funny, but people force themselves to act like it's funny because it's like finally our guy did something that wasn't just weird and creepy and aggressive towards, like if you've ever seen any of his live events, which they always keep them away from actual people. They fill the room and they make the camera frame tighter because every now and then you can find an aerial shot. But on the rare occasion he does encounter like an actual worker or something, he always creeps them the fuck out. So I think the Dark Brandon is just like, finally we can frame his creepiness as something mildly cool in their minds. Do you guys think that they're doing a good job of the Dark Brandon?
No. That might be the creepiest thing he does.
Right.
It might be creepier than sniffing kids. I don't know. Like the Dark Brandon thing is weird.
It is weird.
No sense. It was a weird way to try to embrace the "Let's go Brandon" meme.
Yeah. Well, I've seen one skit that kind of explained it. Where so he gets up and he fumbles around and he's stumbling and not talking well and falls down, getting off the stage, leaving the podium. And then he gets back in and finally gets back in like a room by himself and he picks up the phone and he's, "Yes, Lord Rothschild. Yes, they think I still have dementia. That's right. Yes."
Yeah. So you think he's
still being carried out?
You think he's pulling the whole, that you can't get away with just saying some crazy authoritarian stuff if you seem completely physically incapable. That's not out of the realm of possibility. But I do get that, but he just actually looks like he had a stroke to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or he's a great actor, and I imagine that his conversations with the Rothschild always involve him with a phone in one hand and a gas pump that he's trying to have sex with in the other. You guys saw that video of the president at the gas pump that was going around Twitter. I think we stuck it in his.
To be fair, Biden is a good actor. He was in an episode of Parks and Rec, and he killed it.
Really?
Yes, he was
interesting.
He was fantastic.
That's interesting. I haven't seen that.
Politicians who guest star on comedy shows are all good actors, and it's because you have to be a good actor to be a politician.
Except Stacey Abrams.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, I'm right.
I was very, very disappointed in her performance as president of the world on Star Trek. It was very, very bad.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. You're right.
But she was hot though, dude.
There's no
you gotta
telling.
admit that.
There's no doubting how sexy that whale was.
Yeah.
It was like I really wanted to see her. I wanted to see a threat coming towards the crew. And I wanted to see her put everybody behind them and just start swallowing up planets with her giant vagina.
There we go.
That would have been more entertaining than the shit that they did. And
yeah, that's really terrible.
Those shows now, Jake, I know that you and your wife both work in the entertainment industry, and Ridgway does as well. Ridgway's familiar with Tyler Perry Studios, like I am a little bit. And on Star Trek, they have these random scenes that are completely irrelevant to the story that are like 3 to 4 minutes long that they'll just cut into every episode or so. That's just about how a trans is making sure everybody knows they're a they, them. And I'm like, everybody can tell by your haircut and your demeanor. You don't like. Can you just let people infer it instead of beating us over the head with it? Do you notice it? Do you think this trend is increasing or decreasing in film?
Oh, it has been increasing for a very long time, and I think there are far more movies and shows starting to come out where they're not doing that. I think the latest what was the Marvels one with Brie Larson and the 3 other chicks?
Oh God, that was awful.
That was a disaster, and I think that was kind of the beginning of the end for people trying to bash you over the head with things. Obviously, people will still do that, and there are still going to be writers who write that way and directors who direct that way. But I think Marvel may have demonstrated a lesson to everybody to maybe this won't work out for us if we go this route, if we continue to try to.
Yeah, it does feel like there's kind of a reversal on some of the stuff a little bit of late, which I like, but I'm also like, why? Why are they? Maybe it's just a natural flow. I don't know.
It could be just a natural flow. I mean, those big corporations just want to make money. And if they're starting to lose the majority of their audience because they're just preaching to the audience something that they don't want to hear, then they're going to pivot. You know, that's how free markets work.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Respond to incentives. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Justin, did you say something?
No.
Okay, so
but I agree
yeah.
with you that day.
No, right, and so you saw the BlackRock guy where they're like challenging him to give up his paycheck and stuff, which that's a good gesture. It's not really gonna harm him all that much, and he just I don't know if you guys have heard the clip of him talking about you have to control people's behavior. I mean, with that is just what this comes down to at a baseline, and maybe they're recognizing that it causes too much of a backlash, and they're going to shift to a different strategy. I guess we'll see. Especially when it was an Ivy League school recently. I can't remember which one. Who they announced that they would no longer be doing DEI, requiring DEI statements in the hiring of their professors, which is like a wild thing in and of itself to think that there were DEI statements required in order to get hired.
Yeah. I mean, we covered a story like this a couple weeks ago where the head of the cybersecurity division of the United States said it would be a good idea if we started hiring based on qualifications instead of DEI.
Totally. And that before used to be a racist if you said that. But now I guess you can get away with it again, which is good. And okay, one more, and then I'm going to get out here. And you guys, I'm sure, I mean, you guys can stay and continue doing the show if you like, but I don't think you Forrest Mommy
dude,
popped in.
I'm going to do it all night.
Yeah. So I sent Forrest Mommy a link, and she popped in. I didn't see her in the bottom. I'm sorry, Jessica. I apologize. I would have loved to have had you pop in. I always love to. Jessica cracks me up. I think that she's
funny.
I think she's a good leader too.
Yeah, her campaign in Colorado was one of the most entertaining campaigns.
And she doesn't give a fuck. Like she is. No. It's great. And that is, I think, what makes her, in my opinion, likable and easy to support. Mm-hmm. And so, I always like to point people her way who haven't met her yet. So you guys saw the Catholic video we talked about earlier. Did you see any of that with the football player with the Kansas City Chiefs? Oh yeah. Yeah, it was great. I loved, like, he to me was on, like I said, the get the house in order mission, and he knew that there was going to be backlash. I mean, he didn't go in thinking nobody's going to get mad at me for this. Obviously they would, and the backlash has come out today. And yeah, you're right, by the way, sausage parties. Yeah, this is a sausage party for now. Aram, you're right about that. The NFL released a statement on Butker, what he said at that commencement speech, and they said this. They said Harrison Butker gave a speech in his personal capacity. His views are not those of the NFL as an organization. The NFL is steadfast in our commitment to inclusion, which only makes the league stronger. So they're gay. That should have just been the statement, hey, we don't agree with Harrison Butker. We, the NFL, are gay. Because that is such a stupid, empty gay statement. What does that even mean? We're about inclusion.
Yeah. Because nothing
they
about
don't include very many Asian women.
That's very true.
Right. I mean, I would watch more football if there were Asian women in it.
I probably would too, because it'd be fun to see some people get flattened repeatedly.
Absolutely. They all know Taekwondo. So the football players they'd be a lot prettier than most of the football players. But that's not, so why they're mad at him, I think it's probably less about what he actually said, because they didn't have to give it that much attention. I think they're mad at him because he took a shot at Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce during his speech. He said, what was it he said? He said something like, as my teammate's girlfriend would say, familiarity breeds contempt, which is a line from one of her songs. And you can tell by what he said in that speech that he definitely hates Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. There's no doubt about that.
Not surprising.
But he's also the best kicker in the league.
Yeah.
And he scored 13 of their points from the Super Bowl. They can't fire him.
Right.
No.
Well, but all of your fans have gone from 40-year-old men to 14-year-old girls. So, I could see him being a little upset with that. That all of a sudden, you've won 2 Super Bowls for this team. You were the main source of the points in the last Super Bowl, and now all everyone wants to talk about is your teammate's girlfriend.
Right. Yeah. He's the only good player to ever come out of Georgia Tech, other than Calvin Johnson.
Oof. Yeah.
Right.
Ooh.
Calvin may have been better.
Calvin was very, very good, but I ain't seen Calvin telling women to get in the kitchen and get pregnant. Okay, so we're gonna give Butker.
Calvin also never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. So he like quit because he was he's a CBD he's a weed, not CBD, he's a weed guy. He sells a bunch of I think he's high all the time. Yeah,
Calvin.
So he should come to the Libertarian Convention, is what I'm saying. Megatron.
Gosh, he really should.
Yeah. Oh wow, I didn't know that about him.
Yeah.
My wife went to high school with him.
Oh really?
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, he was
that's cool.
so good.
He was so
So
Dude,
good.
he was a beast, man. He was.
Oh, yeah.
He was awesome.
Tech had the worst quarterback. Can you imagine? Tech had like the worst quarterback ever at the time.
Y'all
but
were
the
never a
best
throwing
receiver.
team. Y'all were always triple option. Like
Yeah.
Still are.
Yeah, that's
Before the triple option, we were let's see if we can win 3-2, and it would never turned out that way.
No, it didn't.
Tech's been running the same play for like 100 years, dude.
And people talk about oppression. You're right, Ridgeway. They talk about what they choose and what they don't choose. Like gay, some people who are gay, they'd be like, it was something I was born with, and I can relate to that because I didn't choose to be a Georgia Tech fan. I was born into it. Nobody would choose to be a Georgia Tech fan.
Yeah. No one would choose to be a Texas A&M fan, and that's what I am. And
Are you a Texas A&M fan?
Yes.
Oh man,
It's a horrible life. It's really fun at the games, but afterwards, it's always terrible.
Where's our reparations, Jake?
Great question.
Where's our DEI? That's what I'm looking for.
We'll never get social justice, man.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Didn't Johnny Manziel come out of A&M?
Yeah, the biggest bust in NFL history.
He's like the
There's your DEI right there. Yeah.
he is the he's the Hunter Biden of the NFL, is what he was.
Well, and he admitted to it in a recent documentary too. Yeah.
That
He's
dude
like,
loved
I
to party.
really phoned it
dude.
in. I got kind of lucky, and then you get to the NFL and you actually have to like not party and practice and stuff.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he never should have gone to the NFL after his after his sophomore year.
No, he should have started like a porn website or something.
He was so
good.
I mean, that's like that dude. I bet he had the wildest parties in college. He's probably drunk half of the games he played.
Dude, I bet he's a major reason why college athletes can now get sponsorships and be in commercials and stuff like that. Like, 'cause he shed a lot of light on that whole thing. How like they're basically just ponies, like show ponies, being drug around everywhere, and he wasn't having any of it, and he was making all his money down, under the table. It was great.
Right. And that, I mean, it's not fair because they are the ones bringing the dollars in, but also I really don't like that transfer portal.
Oh, I hate the transfer
It's
portal.
just a new team every
It's
year.
ruined it, dude.
The transfer portal's insane.
NIL too has ruined it.
I'm fine with NIL. The transfer portal needs to be fixed. It's garbage. Just being able to go to a different school whenever you want is so stupid. If you're signing a contract, you better stay at that daggum school.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you can't even start to like a player a lot before they're gone. Don, thank you. I appreciate the tip. He says the thing talking about Tom Woods mentioned the thing he mentioned in traditional Latin mass. Secular Catholics can't stand talking about Harrison Butker. Traditionalist, so it pissed off the leadership. Yeah, no, I looked some of that up. I didn't understand it at first, but he was speaking to a very traditionalist sort of Catholics. It's almost like he was declaring war on the progressive Catholics who are the Pope. And yeah, it was very interesting, I thought. And so they make it political, but he was, even though you can't not make it political, it is, whether he likes it or not. Like I've always said, the best place to put a CIA agent is a priest who gets a bunch of confessionals at a really popular church. Get the insider secrets. But yeah, he's like, fuck all these guys who are leading us astray. Let's make our voice heard. And in the process of doing this, the media actually proved his point and then made happen what he told that audience to happen, because he told those kids, he said, look, we can't listen to these guys, and we're persecuted, the traditionalists like us. We have been throughout history, but that doesn't mean we can remain silent. We need to be louder about our faith than ever before, and we need to tell people about it. And then the media goes and they demonize him just like he said they would, and they help him, maybe inadvertently, broadcast his faith. So I'm saying great job on your PR strategy, because what happens is exactly what he said he wanted to happen. And he takes me as somebody who's a little calculated. Yeah.
It was a very good speech. And he did.
I love talking about Catholicism, by the way, with an image from an article on screen, which I just realized I'd put that up there, that says, pro-Trump artist releases 100 penis-shaped balloons with the face of Alvin Bragg and Judge Merchant on them. Nice. I like to juxtapose the, what we're talking about. Really serious with penis balloons. I love that people do stuff like this. I don't know where they get the independent wealth and the time to make that happen, but I'm glad that they have it.
Dude, that's so stinking funny.
What is
It's a good idea for convention.
It's a great idea for convention. That's so funny. I don't even know what to say about this. This is wild.
So the question now is, how fast can you get some penis balloons, enough of them, shipped?
Where did you release?
Are we talking about like condoms?
That's a good question.
No,
Let's
like
see.
decorations for a bachelorette party.
Okay.
Condoms?
Dicks of Hazard.
Let's see if they. Yeah, so there's one right there. You see that?
Oh, gotcha. There we go.
Yeah, it's a pink balloon.
I can't, dude.
You might be able to use that as a condom. I'm not sure how secure it would be, but it looks like it's having sex with a criminal court building with the way it's floating right now. And Denver says he saw that balloon stunt. That's funny. So this guy's an artist though, so this is great. That's his job. He's probably like selling those balloon things. If he's Hunter Biden for $500,000 to liberal donors. The supplies for the balloon installation cost $1,500 and took the artist about 2 days to affix the faces on them and add weight so that they wouldn't float away as quickly. Yeah, you don't want the penis to go rapidly. You want it to be steady flow. And it says that libido, I guess, libido, is that his name? It's like, it looks like libido, but it's a little bit different. Isn't it weird how the names always seem to fit the stories?
I mean, that really does fit the story. That is wild.
I mean, isn't there a judge named Pecker inside that court?
There's one of the defendants, the catch
or
and
not
kill
a judge,
Pecker,
yeah, a lawyer.
One of the guy who ran the tabloid that helped Trump do the catch and kill.
Okay.
Pecker. I don't know why they didn't get E. Jean Carroll up there petting her cat named Vagina, and then have Pecker come up. I mean, you got to have Vagina Pecker. And then you just, I think that they should bring in, I think you should make it like the final episode of Seinfeld and just bring in everybody who hates Trump. Get Robert De Niro up there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Get Morning Joe, Mika, everybody, every actor, every player from all the years, and have them just say how bad of a person. He never grabbed me by the pussy, but I could tell he was doing it in his mind. You know, and that's like, that's Morning Joe saying that because he has a pussy that Mika grabs him by every day. I would love to see all of this happening during this trial.
Yeah, dude.
I'm on board with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the penis so good. See, that goes to show you, if you ever sitting around and you're like, what if I just made a bunch of penis balloons? And you go, no, that's stupid. I need to get a job. Maybe that becomes your job. I think this is inspirational right here.
That's inspirational. It's art.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for humoring me. And I love talking to you guys. You guys are always so much fun because you put up with me for one. And you guys you have insights about, I'm interested in libertarianism a lot, but you guys know far more about it than me. And I'm always learning from you. Thank you guys for hanging out in the chats and stuff. And Justin, I love having you on, Justin. I'm only able to have you on. So Justin's like, so a lot of people think me and Justin are brothers when they see us because we got big eyes. And we are kind of like brothers. He's my buddy. And we, that's good times, great oldies. And just for tomorrow, the Pope will be holding a press conference at noon tomorrow on aliens and the supernatural. And he will be releasing, the purpose of this, they're going to be unveiling new guidelines on supernatural phenomena, specifically guidelines that will be focused on discerning between apparitions, did I say that right? Apparitions. And other supernatural phenomena. Something they haven't done anything like this since 1978. So there's a PSYOP to look out for tomorrow at noon. Going to be live streamed on the Vatican YouTube page, which does exist. I went to it earlier, so check that out. All right, guys. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll talk to you guys in the chat. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Wait, well, Don, what happens to be a joke? Say real quick. The stories are actually 100% real.
I think he was talking about the Pope talking about aliens.
Right. Yeah. No, it's actually like,
dude, that's wild.
Yeah.
What on
well, maybe I got duped, but I went to like 4 different websites that were, some of them were Vatican linked sites. Yeah. And so it's a possibility I got duped. So that's actually a good thing, but I don't think I did.
It was on the Drudge Report today.
I'll log in for that.
I was right in the middle of the page.
Yeah. I'll check it out. I'd love, yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting to me. I think it's a controlling the narrative on that because they put that people are talking about that more, and they definitely want to direct people.
And focus less on all the gay sex and cocaine that's going on at the Vatican.
Right, or the Capitol, or
dude,
behind the Lincoln Memorial.
Yeah.
The hidden
That's
videos.
all the fun.
Yeah. Justin, if you can crack the walls inside Congress, you will have all of the gay porn videos you will ever need, or anybody will ever need.
All the blow?
Like that's like a real thing, is that there are so many gay congressional porn videos that we don't know about, because there's at least 2 that we do.
There's got to be more that we don't, for sure.
Yeah, those aren't the only fucking 2, right? All right, I could go on like an idiot forever. We'll talk to you guys next time. Have a fantastic rest of your day.